Hello to Book Reviews with Emma! So today we're going to be reviewing Ghosts of the Shadow Market, an independent standing book in Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter universe, and one that fills in all of the gaps that we've ever wondered about the series. So you know, this is not spoiler free. I will be talking about events that are happening in the book, so please click off if you have not read it yet, or else go and pick it up and come back. Alright, one thing that I want to talk about, just one thing, I am not the hugest fan of books that are just a big conglomerate of different time periods and people, but this one works beautifully. I think every single question that I've ever really needed to know is answered about the Shadowhunter universe in this book, and we get to follow along Jem and his journey, and I love it. Or Brother Zachariah, Snackariah, everything you want to call him. And we get to go through and see so many of the people that we haven't seen yet, because this was released before Chain of Gold, and we get to see Matthew Fairchild, one of my favorite characters of all time in the Shadowhunters universe. And we get to understand his personality when you do pick up Chain of Gold. And it makes so much sense. She prepared for the questions to be answered that we had later on. And I love that. I also love that we're trying to figure out who Tessa's father is this whole time, and we don't figure it out, actually. It's very inconclusive in the book. Towards the end of Chain of Gold, we find it out, and I'm relieved because finally now I know. A lot of time that comes between Tessa and Jem, and I gotta say, I really wondered what the heck was gonna happen in this entire time period. And there's a lot. Like, Tessa was a nurse, and that was such a sweet story. And then Jem's constantly helping her and helping her get over her grief, while also he has limitations since he's Brother Zachariah now instead of Jem that we all love and care for. We also finally get to know about the lost Herondale and Kit's family, which clears up so much that I was wondering at the very end of the Dark Artifice series, and literally this book just clears so much of the fog, and it helps us understand the series so much. Out of all the stand-alongs, I say this one you need to read, because, I mean, it's a great story. It follows Jem and everyone that's important. Okay, they're all important. But the other ones are not as essential to the core of the whole series, I don't believe. It's more like, oh, I want to know more about Magnus and Alec. And this one is like, oh, I want to know more about all the characters. And you do. You find out so much about Kit Rook and his dad, who was such a jerk on the outside, but he had a reason to be. He was protecting the lost Herondale, and it was his wife, and it was one of the sweetest love stories that we have come across from Cassandra. And I really loved how this all played out throughout the story. And I know I said that I don't like the skips in time, like, traditionally, but this actually picked up perfectly because everything, like, was concise enough where you're never bored, because once you get bored, that story's done and you started a new one and you're learning more and more about the universe. So I would recommend reading this book right after Chain of Gold, or actually I would read it right before Chain of Gold, because knowing the side of Matthew is quite important to the story. And I think since I did read it before, it gave me some nice depth to his character, and that's probably why I care for him so much. But I think you need that depth to fully understand him. And after you jump into here, you'll understand so much more the more you read the entire Shadowhunters universe. My favorite sections were when Ty and Kit are, well, Livy is talking to both of them because she's a ghost, and Kit is training at Scholomance, and there's so much going on because they don't know what his connection is with the ghost world and what the limitations are and what are the dangers. And Kit and Mina, little baby Mina. Oh, Jem and Tessa finally had their child. And it's the most precious thing ever. That's my second favorite part. Well, maybe first, I don't know. Because finally we get to see Jem have the happiness that he deserves. Because he gave up everything. And he saved Will and saved Tessa. And they stayed together and had their beautiful life together. And now Jem and Tessa deserve that as well. And there gets to be the little Mina. And Jem as a father is one of the most adorable things ever. And Tessa, I mean, she's already been a mother, but it's just so sweet. They have this little game that they play, and I think that's a really cute addition. And it's really nice to see the story unfold, like, in this cute, happy family, and there's not something going on around them. Like, they're not in danger, exactly, and we just get to see their happiness and peer in, like, on a snow globe. Because we're from, like, Lizzie's point of view and Kit's point of view, so it's not really, like, there's not a conflict in some of the stories as much, because she's really displaying what we want to see, and also showing some concerns about the ghost Livy. Alright, I hope that was a quick wrap-up and review of Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, the standalone in the Shadowhunters universe. It's one of the best books to tie together the whole series, and I'd recommend reading it right after the Infernal Devices. So just go pick this one up, tell me what you thought about it, tell me what else I should read and review. Alright, see ya!